Very good afternoon to all of you here for making a time for this art conversation session. Welcome to this special art conversation presented by APAD, Angkatan Pelukis Aneka Daya. And it's part of this exhibition called Cipta Art Through Time. So Cipta Art Through Time, this exhibition commemorates Singapore's 60th year of independence and APAD's 63rd anniversary, where we explore artistic expression that traverse identity, memory, and transformation. As you can see here, the exhibition brings together 50 artworks by 33 artists, works by pioneer artists, established artists, and emerging artists. Their voices, their practices reflect the evolving Malay cultural experience within Singapore's contemporary art landscape. So I hope, thank you for coming, and I hope you have gone around to see the exhibition and look at the works by all the artists here. Okay, so today's topic, rooted memory, reshaped identity, explores how the young artists interpret themes of heritage, nationhood, memory, and personal experience in a contemporary context. We are joined here by two young and inspiring members of APAD. Khairul Faizin, please give him a hand.
Thank you.
And Mayang Sari.
Hi.
I shall briefly introduce and then they will talk about themselves later on. Okay, so Khairul Faizin, he's a product designer turned visual artist, and his sculptural works explore identity, through a fusion of 3D printing and leather craft techniques. Mayang Sari, she's just graduated in Fine Arts from NAFA. She has here a multi-channel video installation, okay, touching on memory, place, archival practice within Singapore's public housing landscape. So perhaps Khairul and Mayang, you can talk a little bit more about your artwork and about yourself, a bit about your background. Khairul?
I have the mic, so I'll start first. Okay, so I'm Khairul Faizin. So as mentioned by Kak Mas, I started out as a product designer. I'm product design trained. Eventually, I delved myself into being an artist, and I'm slowly growing. But right now, as of now, I'm more tweaked towards making kinetic artworks. So artworks that involves movements, artworks that with your presence, and then it will move according to whatever that you want it to be. Yeah. Other than that, with my previous background in leather crafting, so I've been a leather crafter for almost 8 years, working in a firm full time, and from there, currently I'm working in a robotics firm. So it's a big jump, but in that jump itself, it makes me ponder more about what makes me impact the world in the ways that I can do it myself. Yeah, because right now, when you work in a company, what you do is you just, work, and then you produce the thing, and then that's it. But being an artist, it creates a channel for me to let my creativity out by myself. At the same time, for the world to see what I have in mind in the message that I do through my work. Yeah, so that's for me.
Hello, so I recently graduated from NAFA under the Bachelor of Fine Arts with honours. So currently my work has evolved from 2D printmaking, which is more on the social issues and about Singapore as well, into something more where it's about photography and videography, which I actually evolved from during my internship with DEC, which was really helpful and really nice being able to have access to all these photography books and art books all to myself. And then currently I'm mostly doing a lot of grassroots works and volunteering under my local CC, I'm one of a member of MAC, which is the Malay Activities Events Committee. And right now I'm involved in Bulan Bahasa 2025 for my CC. So yeah.
Thank you, Khairul and Mayang. Nice to hear your intro and a bit of background of yourselves. So let's start with Khairul, your artwork, Senegara. I'm not sure whether you all have had a chance to look at his work, Senegara and Sepadu. Okay, so from your artist statement, your artwork talks about unity,
Yes.
about identity, about a bit of abuse of power,
Yeah, correct.
and then you know, the dangers of power without any tolerance. You know, so maybe you can share how you came up with this concept and how you choose your materials. You know, the butterfly, and then using watercolor, 3D printing. You know, to support your message.
Okay, so because SG60 is the theme for Cipta, right? So technically, if you were to talk about Singapore, as a general term, we always see Singapore as a multicultural society. Okay, so what makes us unique is in such a way that how we live with one another, being in existence with one culture to another culture, and how we integrate them and be part of it. So with the 4 butterflies, so the Senegara is made out of 4 butterflies. So each of the butterflies actually represents a race itself. I try to color code it, but at the same time, each of the butterflies actually come from the native country from where it represents the race itself. So the ones with the red and black, it represents the Chinese. The green represents the Malay. The blue and yellow represents the Indian. And the yellow and brown represents the Eurasian, okay, so European context. So all these butterflies, they actually come from that region itself, okay, so they bring their culture differently and weave together. So why butterfly? Is because it shows the fragility of the unity that we have. You know, we are coming from different backgrounds, different culture, religion, races, language, but at the same time, it's how we tolerate each other. Okay, we do represent our own races, but it's about how we accept one another and making sure that with that unity in mind, we can actually progress together as one nation. Yeah, so that's the reason why I create the Senegara itself. For Perdu, the frame itself is fully 3D printed. So reason for that is because the whole message of Perdu is, okay, there's a poem there. So one of the proverb is tak lekang dek panas, tak lekang dek hujan. Something, okay, I forgot the phrase. But what I'm trying to say, the Malay proverb itself, it means something that exists cannot just disintegrate just like that. So we already have this one nation, and we know that the cultures are there. Okay, and we have been existing for at least, 60 years, SG60. And because of that, right, that identity itself is already inbuilt in us, it's an innate. And we know that when we are born here, even the next generation, I see my children and things like that, they are already living in such context. Yeah, so that's the reason why I created the artwork Perdu. And for many layers and layers to come, like how 3D print is being built upon. So if you all don't know 3D printing, so 3D printing is a process whereby you make an object through layers, and it's like how we are in the multi-generational thing. So we have been living upon what our parents built, and our next generation will be living upon what I'm gonna build. Yeah, so because of that, it's the same layers and layers throughout. So that's the reason why I use 3D printing and butterfly as the context of my artwork. Yeah.
I was just about to ask like how your background in leather craft and 3D printing design influence your artistic process and your storytelling.
Okay. Okay. So leather craft. The interesting bit about leather craft is, it looks like as if it's a rough work, but actually all of us, we will always have one leather product with us, whether it's our wallet, whether it's our watch strap. So this kind of thing, it's all these little gestures that we don't see, but it's actually happening around us. Yeah, so why leather, how I bring leather craft into the artwork is the process that makes the process that is involved in leather craft is also being taken upon in my artwork. So for example, there's pattern making. So for the process of making the butterfly, I actually had to make the pattern first. From there, it develops into the water, the coloring and things like that. Yeah, so same goes for the layering of the 3D printing. So instead of just making it, I actually design it in 3D form first, which is a 3D drawing, like it's a software. Yeah, so from software and then it becomes a real product. So same goes like leather crafting, it's always about the pattern, make sure that it works from a 2D format, and then we make it into a 3D. Yeah, so that's how I use leather crafting and the processes involved into the artworks that I create. Yeah. So this is just some of the ways that I use it through the butterflies, but there are other techniques that I use in my previous artworks. Yeah, that involves leather, involves the painting of the leather and making sure that it actually kind of patina to the requirements that you need. Yeah, because leather itself is organic, because it's something that it will age over time. Yeah, but it's about the processes and the inks that we use, even the lacquer. Yeah, so all those oils that you put it is the one that makes your product stand out. Yeah.
Thank you, Kai. Mayang. Anybody else has any questions? And there's a lot of technique and there's a lot of research that has gone into your works. I mean, obviously. Okay.
For me is yes. So there's different mediums. So sometimes I even just use my phone and then it's a form of notepad. Yeah, so just type in and then that itself, maybe one phrase or something that represents the artwork or the thought process. Another is sketches. Yeah, so sketches itself is not just about the artwork, but it's about making sure how the artwork comes to life. Yeah, so it's the processes involved because there's different layers in the process. And I cannot jump suddenly because if I jump suddenly, it might be something that needs to be done earlier, and then eventually I did it later or something. Yeah, so it's more about making sure that the idea is there, but streamlining it to the real product. There's the different processes, so that's where I break it down into whether it's a sketches or it's in words. Yeah, but the first how it's usually born is. The idea born is through just what I see throughout my life. Yeah, because we heard news about people being, like racist statement and things like that in Singapore context. But at the same time, we know that the majority itself feels that we are much safer with each other races being around. Yeah, and the whole world knows about it. Yeah, so that's what I see, and that's why I'm trying to capture with the artwork itself. From there is where the processes happen. Yeah.
I think for me, it's mostly, fabricating the frames itself to hold the tiny computer screens on itself. So having to measure all the little computer chips, all the extra small details that will definitely affect how the weight distribution is when it's hung. And mostly I did most of my work on my computer because, you paid a lot of money for that. And most of my work are mostly just writings because, in school they encourage you to write down your thoughts and write down all your research and all the different things that you've put into thought. So it's a lot of mind mapping for me and collaging all the works and research that I've searched through like online archives like, NLB and the community source archives as well, and also home family videos as well. So most of my, my drawings are online. Yeah.
Thanks, Kai and Mayang.
I think for me, traditional art can never be replaced by a computer because, computers need source materials to create quotation marks, create newer artworks, but most of them are just, like bits and pieces of other people's arts mended into one. So ultimately, you still need the human brain, the human creativity to actually create something. A computer or machine can never do that unless they, bring like artificial sentience lah.
Okay, for me, existence of AI, instead of devaluing the real artwork, it actually increased the value. Yeah, so with the introduction of generative AI into artwork, what happens is right now we actually see the humans, the past humans, previous artists basically, they actually put in a lot of effort. So right now with the existence of this AI again, instead of cheapening a product, right, a real hard work product by a human, it actually elevates the price. So us as society, we should start thinking about making sure that we have to embrace all this human existence rather than making AI as part of our top priority in life lah. Yeah. So AI is just a tool, and we have to keep thinking that it is just a tool. If there's artists saying that maybe AI should be the superior, or so it should cost more and things like that, to me it's like AI, anyone can do it. If I'm a software engineer and I just prompt something, technically that guy is also an artist, if you want to take AI as an artist itself lah. Yeah, so it depends on your in one perspective. That is the very same reason why I took on crafting as an integral thing in my artwork, because AI cannot do what hands does. Yeah, so in human context, we always want the human touch. Okay, so even for, again, the robot dementia, technically we have cultures whereby if you put a robot in front of the elders actually take it as an insult because they want a human. So no matter what, at the end of the day, human need human. And we can't just rely on whatever that is generative out there. Yeah, so that's my take on AI and art. Yeah, so the core art is still the best. And for us being like this, right, this is the best of its kind already. Yeah.
Thank you, Kai, Mayang. Any questions? Mr. Teo? Prof?
Thank you. All this is very interesting. It seems to me your generation, just what you say, you are more comfortable with technology compared to my friend Jeffrey over there. Over there. Right? I think your age, you are the generation that grew up with digital devices and also receiving a lot of information from computers, from smartphone, and so the speed in which you receive information and process information. But interestingly, you are very concerned about memory. It's like a contradiction, right? Because technology is very future-oriented, but you still want to try to find out what is the meaning of the past. And of course, you're concerned about the elder generation and dementia. Both of you mentioned dementia. Dementia is a very real issue. Yeah. And I like the last question about what about the art that came before. Interesting, you are seated behind you is the art of 𝑣𝒓𝒕, which is very little studied in Singapore. And we need a lot more documentation, a lot more understanding. And also, it cannot be that the art of Malay artists is Malay art. 𝑣𝒓𝒕 is more than Malay art. It's Singapore art, it's Southeast Asian art, it's human art, the kind of human art that you value. Yeah? So I think I'm very happy that I came to listen to you, and also you also seem to be very concerned about society and what's happening. Yeah. And I think your older generations also, like behind you, the two artworks, including the one on the Batu Putih. Yeah, there's a lot of thinking about the time that we are living in. Yeah, so I just want to say thank you. Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Prof. Would you like to comment on that? It's not a question.
Yeah, it's not a question.
It's a it's a
Thoughts? I think, yeah, I do agree, like, you know, we're more than just Malay. There's more to us than just a label. And, you know, we all should definitely dive into more mediums of art instead of like confining ourselves in a box and allowing ourselves to be more free in our own expressions. So, yeah.
Okay, about generational art and things like that, right? At the end of the day, we will always look at our past instead of the future. Yeah, even for Malays, our names is bin something. I mean, bin our father lah, and our fathers is bin some father. Yeah, so it's always through the lineage. And I think for our existence, how we should see ourselves is through that lah, because we live by that. And it's with this generation is probably the one that makes who we are and in whatever that spaces that we grow up to be. Yeah. So I think it's always important to keep on looking at what happened before, who are the previous artists, what they actually do. Maybe their mistakes can be something that we learn, and their progress is something that we can cherish on. Yeah. So these are the kind of things that I think that makes one's memory not just as, you know, a passing by, but it's experience for every one of us lah. Yeah, so that's my take.
well said. Last question from the floor. Last few. There's more.
Major differences, maybe I'll talk about similarity first. Okay, so the similarity would be all of us have, within the region, we all have different experience and perception of what arts needs to be. Yeah, so that's my take about similarity. So the differences would be how we can actually bring ourselves out there. Yeah, so for us, we are living in this first world country. So maybe for other countries, they might even be more people who are maybe more talented than any of us here. Yeah, but they are not exposed. Yeah, so for us, it's in Singapore itself, we should embrace that opportunity because we are already there, and the artist in Singapore is also there. Of course, there are major artists around the region also, but it's about having it in a smaller pool. And for other countries, maybe there's millions that is talented, but only that fraction that is exposed to the world. Yeah, so I would say that the challenges, not the challenges, the differences is something that maybe is to an advantage for us, for me lah, at least for a young. And even so, like even if I say I'm a Singapore artist, everyone already know, oh, you know, Singapore artist is at this level and things like that. And the whole world knows about our, you know, culture being multinational, I mean multiracial society and things like that. So it's easier for us to integrate into the art scene. Yeah, and probably overseas, maybe the European side, they probably think that we are unique because they don't face what we face. And that is something that is value added, I believe so. Yeah.
I think for me, where I stand is probably, you know, we're all at the same standing. We all have like our pros and cons for each country. You know, like Singapore, we have a lot of grants and help from our local government, which actually gives us so much opportunities to create and to exhibit our works. While, you know, like countries around us, they may not have the same experience or opportunities, but they do have a lot of more freedom and, you know, less censorship, while we have a bit more censorship. So it's a lot of give and take. So we have more, but then we have less in like being more free. while, other countries, they definitely will have more freedom to express themselves without, government bodies breathing down their necks. And like the space, like physical space as well, like, less restrictions on how they showcase their works and how they choose to showcase their works. So yeah.
Thank you. Ramli? Dr. Suryani? Any questions?
Hi, Khairul. All right. Coming from the senior generation, right? Just like to know, see your point of view. Okay, what does art got to do with life in Singapore going forward? What does art has got to do with Singapore going forward? Yeah. Okay, why I'm saying this because when we started out, right, back in the 70s, 80s, art is something that is not in the subject matter of our forefathers. When we go to school, college, the first thing they do is either you go medicine or you go engineering. Art, no, we're not, Okay, yeah. So this is where, but now you see there's a lot of support by the government towards the arts. I'd like to know from the younger generation's point of view, where do you think these arts going forward will be for Singapore as a nation?
Tough
Thank you.
question. Okay. I'm still new, but looking forward, where the art scene in Singapore will take off, right? It boils back down to how the culture out there is growing. So right now, as we speak, what I know is most of us are exposed to artworks. Yeah, last time, maybe again my parents' generation or even my grandparents, art itself is like something that is kuno lah. Lack of a better word, kuno lah. Basically, kuno is like something that is like prehistoric kind of topic, Yeah. So it's like a taboo. The moment it's art, guitar, drums, and things like that. That's the art scene last time. But right now, again with the exposure of what art means, people are putting art not just in terms of as a way to express things. They are doing it for decorative things. They are exploring art to express themselves. They are exploring art to make sure that their ideology is set out. Yeah. So for me, I take it that Singapore is, as a nation, there's still room for us to accept art. Yes, as a community. But for us artists, what I believe is we have to make sure that it's always relevant for the current generation itself. Yeah, so it's not something that is easy to be said because my artwork may not be relevant in 10 years' time, 20 years' time. Yeah, but what I know is the future should actually appreciate what has been done in the past. So that's where the progressive happens. And right now, like for example, all this architecture that is being painted last time, it's not something that we see today. Yeah, so it's something that we see in the past. And that's where I kind of feel that the gap there is what makes art valuable. Yeah, so to me, that's where I see art should be in the stage of Singapore itself. Something that is relevant, not just today, but it's something relevant for people to experience in the future. Yeah, so that's my take.
I think for me as a young artist, nowadays I see a lot more new art spaces built up by a lot of younger artists, and the crave, like the yearning for having community in the arts because of, now there's the internet and everyone's very interconnected with one another. And, art is basically available anywhere, anytime. So I feel like there's a need to create for, in any form of art, be it like video, photography, and nowadays it's more obvious for everyone to see. And as the saying goes by Nina Simone, you create what is happening around you. So I think it will still be very relevant, even if it's like old art, but people will still appreciate it. So yeah.
Thank you. Last question.
I think I would like to dive into more interactive artworks and works that require me to code. So I like to make it more motion sensor work and more visual in a way. So yeah.
Whatever that is upcoming is in my hard disk. Okay, so I already have all the drawings, the whatever that is 3D model that is needed. So it will be, for me, it will always be towards making kinetic artwork. Yeah, so it's progressing as such, and so yeah, I believe we'll just keep on looking in APAD exhibition. As it progresses along, it will be there. I think both our will be there. Yeah, for sure.
Thank you. Would you be open to looking into like collaborative projects? You know, I mean, you guys are so good with technology and, you know, working with the senior artists, you know, to do something collaborative.
I think previously APAD had a collaborative between the young and the old. Yeah, we can go into such things again. Because as a young artist, we need to know the views of the elders, the elder societies. Yeah, I mean, the elder need to know the more elder. Yeah, so can try. Yeah, actually the screen itself, I know there's the system, whether it's a Pi or Raspberry or what's Raspberry Pi, right? Yeah, so in one glance, we will know what it means for our generation. Yeah, but for you guys, like even the brush that you all use, the brands, it's all through experience. You will say that this brand not good, don't buy. You know, all these little remarks is something that for us is quite valuable because it doesn't allow us to waste our time. If it's not good, it's not good. Yeah, so that's... Okay, yeah. So that can be for APAD, it can be a future thing that we can work on.
We will look into that.
Yeah, I would definitely want to collaborate with more seasoned artists, you know, have their work mixed with mine, you know, get a bit of clout, you know.
Thank you. I think we have come to the end of this very interesting art conversation session. We hear from two of our youngest members of APAD, you know, their take and how we as APAD members, you know, whether we are emerging or senior or elder, you know, there's the words that's been used today. I think sessions like this are important. You know, we hear from emerging artists. You never know, like the next dialogue would also include you know, intergenerational dialogue also as well. So I hope everybody has enjoyed this session, and I thank you for attending and staying through the full hour or more. Thank you very much, and I hope you enjoy the exhibition. Thank you.